York City, one of the most densely packed urban areas in the world, and perhaps one of the least likely to be the epicenter of an ambitious, even audacious restoration project. The goal, to bring back oysters to the city's harbor, 1 billion of them. These teens are part of the Billion Oyster Project. It started in 2009 at one high school and has expanded rapidly ever since.
Each oyster can actually filter about 50 gallons of water per day.
They're a keystone species, so if we do get 1 billion oysters out here, the harbor will basically be able to filter itself out in 3 days.
Thousands of students and volunteers are working at dozens of different sites. Already, they've planted more than 25 million oysters. Oysters have deep evolutionary roots, tracing their ancestry back to the age of the dinosaurs, around 250 million years ago. Dr. Christine Brandon is piecing together the history of New York's oysters at a research site on Staten Island.
The technology we use is actually very low tech. We build a platform between 2 canoes, go out into the middle of the pond.
That was a good one.
Sink a plastic barrel down into the sediment and pull it up again.
Right.
One of the cores, we had an entire oyster shell in there. So we know that the oysters were present going back to at least a few thousand years ago.
The team focused on the connection between oysters and hurricane damage. They found storm deposits increased when the oysters disappeared.
When we looked, we saw a dramatic change in the sediment that dated to around 400 years ago. 400 years ago corresponds to the time that the Dutch colonists showed up, and they went crazy for the oysters. They loved eating them, they loved grinding up their shells and using them as mortar for their houses and roads. They basically took as many oysters as they could.
In the 1900s, there were oysters bigger than your head that people would just go out and fish. They kept fishing them out, and more pollutants just kept getting dumped into the river more and more, and they died off, and we went down to almost zero.
Removing the oyster reefs has heightened the damage from storms like Hurricane Sandy.
When a storm hits today, the effects can be devastating.
These students saw the destruction firsthand.
My basement got flooded.
I had 10 feet of water in my house.
We didn't have electricity for over like a month.
Bringing back the oyster reefs can help protect against future storm damage.
Oysters have been around for a really long time, and they've been building reefs just offshore for their entire existence. Those reefs act as speed bumps that can stop storm waves from hitting the coast.
Restoring key species like oysters to New York Harbor has multiple ripple effects, cleaning the water, protecting against storms, and providing food. And if restoration works here, it can work anywhere.
This project alone makes me want to do things worldwide with other rivers and coral restoration and that kind of thing when I'm older.